And welcome to this special edition of the Luma Show Live, where we will be talking about addiction and recovery. What is going on, everyone? I am your host, Loomis. I hope you all had a great Easter and enjoyed it with your families. And I had a great weekend myself. Finally got a little bit of time to relax while I relaxed on Easter, but I hope you all had a great Easter out there. Anyone watching, hit that like button, get this moving. Um, I'm going to get into the comments, but the way how this is going to go down today is going to say some hellos quick, and then I'm going to have Mr. Bobby Bright come on. And Bobby's been on the show before from Canada, and he's going to be talking a little bit about, his story. We're going to go back and forth on a little bit about addiction and recovery, and who knows, but some other stuff. Who knows what pops off on the live. And then we're going to go into the comments, and anyone that, has any questions or just wants to talk to us, feel free. And feel free while we're going to keep the chat rocking with everybody that's in it, though. But I just want to say, Frankie, what is up, my friend? You're going above and beyond. I appreciate you. Rafa, what's up? Mr. Bobby Brighton will be on. My man Rafa from out there from Canada, I do believe. It's Lipdion. I'm terrible at names, but I always correct them eventually. We got photographer by Crystal. Sweet. Bobby Bright. Nice. Absolutely. Crystal. Bobby's coming on. Bobby's one of my best friends. He's a gentleman. And you're in for a good one tonight. So I just wanted to start it off, though, by saying, no, people who watched this channel before, and Gary, good evening to you. 18 years sober. Congratulations, my friend. I'm glad you're here. And Roll the Bones podcast, my man Chris. What's going on? Thanks for being here, my man. There's a great channel right there to subscribe to, folks. Great guy right there as well. Great talk earlier, Chris, and thanks for being here. Okay, so going to get back to the comments, keep the comments still rolling, keep them coming through. But when I started this back in 2017, I obviously, I relapsed over the pandemic and all that. And I told my story in the Suffering podcast. It'll be out on May, but never really got into detail about my story and stuff like that. I just, that was my thing, especially after the beginning. But this show went full circle because I put up a poll saying, do you want us to talk about addiction recovery? Do you want to talk about music history? Do you want to talk about the mafia? Or do you want us to talk about movies? And what it all boils down to is going to be talking about all of that. That's what this channel is. But tonight, we're on the addiction front. And this is how the show, though, was supposed to be started and was started before I relapsed.
This is your way of giving back. Like you said, this is not your job. You work it like a full-time job, but this is not a business for you. What are some of the things you want to make sure everybody going away from your podcast hears?
I just want the basic message that I just want them to know that it's okay to ask for help. like in the addiction world, people think it's embarrassing to go to rehab or go somewhere like, you know, to go away. But what's really more embarrassing is being out there and still peddling and doing stuff that you need for your habit. So just know that it's okay to ask for help. I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I mean, if people know my background and they see the turnaround that happened, I mean, anyone can do it.
There you are.
And that's just positivity is what I'm spreading.
Now, Eric, where can people go to get more information about the Loomis Show?
People could type in the Loomis Show on YouTube. That will direct you every time to when I do a podcast.
Eric, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You heard it here. That's the Loomis Show. There's always help if you are looking for it. With that, we're going to send it over to Miss Brittany.
Thanks.
All right, and that was the punk know-it-all who thought that he had sobriety figured out in 2018 by just thinking that, I'll just help people. But one thing that I wasn't doing was looking into myself, and how could you take care of anyone else when you can't even know, you're not even looking into yourself. So with that, tonight's episode is addiction and recovery. And with that, I am going to be bringing in my man, Bobby Bright, to join me for this one. And Bobby, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. We've been talking about doing this now for close to a month, and I'm glad that we finally got it coming to fruition.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to tell, right? Just
yeah, no, absolutely. And
and
the way I want to start
somebody,
the way I want to start it off, though, is this is obviously live, so anyone watching, write your comments in or whatever. I get to every single one of them. But me and Bobby, though, are just going to talk a little bit, though, about, the addiction recovery aspect. Bobby, let me ask you this question. Why was it important, though, for you, though, to really want to touch on this subject?
Because I know how dangerous it is. I know there's situations you think, what's the point of living? And you don't think things through properly, because you really get down on yourself. And and there's a moment where you actually got the balls to do it. You know what I mean? But when you plan it, no, it's kind of different. But all the guys I know that did it because of their addiction, they just did it. You know what I mean? Just right. So I know how a decision like that, even though tomorrow's another day, man. Like, right. So
tomorrow might not be another day. We don't know. So that's why I just take it a minute at a time. But it gets easier over time. It's not like every second now I'm like, oh man. But I mean, I make sure though that I go and talk to someone at least once a week. I make sure my circle's real small, and I make sure.
Well, look what happened to me when I had my friend. He just gets out of the pen. He comes here and,
And I'm sorry for your loss, man. And it's funny, not that it's fun. When I say it's funny, I'm meaning like it's just weird. Meaning it's uncanny, though, that like you called me and you were like, I'm all worried about him. He just left and he ended up passing away. Was it that night?
Yeah, that night, man. Yeah. And I had the cops here banging on the door, and
Well,
anyways, we won't get into that, but
no, I know they ripped your whole house apart and all that bullshit.
That's what I mean. He went out just to see his wife and his son, and then I guess it went bad, and then that's what he did. Said fuck it, right?
Well, yeah, you knew it too, and when you were talking to me, I was like, oh, like the way how you broke it down, like I could tell in your voice, you kind of, you knew in a way. But at the end of the day, though, Bobby, though, you have to realize, though, you're an adult. You can't hold another man against his will.
It's just my things I know. Like I know when somebody's serious and when they're not. When they I knew that was a serious. That's why I called you. You know what I mean?
And you know what though? The thing is you can't be. It's like that's where you have to be very careful. Like where, of course, we're always there to help others, right? We're always there to help others. But if there's someone though that's actively doing it and then bringing it into your house and all that type of stuff, and is still doing like you always say, hey, I'm here if you want to talk when you're sober and serious, and I'm here if you want to get into a treatment or get yourself right. Yeah. But when they're calling constantly at 2 a.m. and they won't talk to you during the day, they'll just talk to you when you're drunk, and then calling you and stuff, like you have to be careful about who to help, and you can't feel guilty that it's your fault if something happens.
Well, the problem is, because a lot of these guys, I did time with, and we bonded in certain things, riots, all the shit that goes on in there. So you feel like a very strong bond, and you want to, you know what I mean? And
No, I know. I'm saying
and,
you have to look after
but
yourself.
that's the trap. What I was going to say, I
Yeah.
should have been a lot firmer. I should have been, you know what I mean? Instead of this, man.
No, listen, and I don't want people to think I'm not saying to help them. The
Yeah.
same with the people that ask me are like brothers of mine, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if they're not ready and they're just, you never, obviously you never abandon, but you just say, hey, I'm here. Because then if you're around all their mess of shit, it's shit that you can't don't be
Yeah.
around. And then you're
Yeah.
not looking after yourself. That's
yeah, I get it. It just I like to get into preventing. You know what I mean? Like what we're doing, I was helping people. Like, you know what I mean? That's the prevention of it, and tell them, what they're going to go through exactly, and the why, and just confidence. People just
which you won't have any until though you go in and get that shit though out of you though, man. Because
I
remember my ex-fiance used to come up to me and be like, why don't you start doing this again? Like the Loomis show and stuff. And I was an actor with that. I'm like, I can't even believe I ever went on camera. Like you're just a shell of yourself. It's like all I'm caring about is how the hell am I going to get money though to get my next fix, blah, 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 this or that. Like that's how you live your life when you wake up. And I was that guy that used to be in those meetings. Now I don't do the meetings, and I'm not nothing against AA or anything, but for me, it's just what I found a recipe for me. Everyone's sobriety is their own sobriety. I don't preach you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. Everyone is their own, so has their own sobriety. I just suggest though that they should talk out and not bottle shit up.
Yeah.
And also, it's obviously the cliche, which is the truth. It's not the drug and alcohol. There's something else that you're filling a void. So you got to find a passion. Once you get the oil, like they call it, an oil change. Once you get that shit out of your system, then you could really start though working on yourself and filling in that void. And there's
that's what I mean. Also, a lot of addicts have a lot of free time on their hands. And
but you know what though? But they have to learn how not to though.
That's what I was just gonna say. You're more productive when you have all this free time, man. Do something for yourself. What did you say? Told me once, invest in yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But Bobby, here's the other thing too. By investing in yourself, like I hear these people who are like, I couldn't go talk to this person, or I couldn't hit a meeting because there was the roads were icy. Well, let me tell you, if you needed a bag of dope, but there was 12 feet of snow on the ground, you'd be crawling like freaking Sasquatch, getting up there. Give me a fucking break. You gotta look
going up the tree.
Listen, you have to invest in yourself before you invest in anything in the world, because investing in yourself, if you don't have yourself, then you can't invest in anything else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. You can't, you know what I mean? So it has to be, you really. And it's easy to they have the 12 steps, which I think, they're great. You do a moral inventory, do whatever. I work them it's basically all about being honest, helping the next man that wants help.
Well, sir, because as men, we're not embedded to talk about it, or we mask it. That's why we drink and want to, you know what I mean? Like we do all kinds of stupid shit, man. Right? Like I'm learning this in the last few years,
Yeah, no, 100% though. What's up, Rodney? Doing what you even asked. I told you, buddy, I do an addiction one. But what I'm saying though, Bobby, is that in the beginning, I'm especially you really don't have to be cautious though. And I see, because I used to be like, oh, I got 6 months clean, I could go help the world now. No, you have to be very, very and don't let somebody. Here's why I said the AA thing. I just don't like that. For example, if someone's drinking, right? Let's say they have 10 years clean, right? And people are going to disagree with me this, and I really don't give a fuck. Fuck them. If you fall off your horse one night and you decide to have a couple drinks, and you're right back on the horse the next day, living a normal, productive life, going to what it doesn't lead down to whatever, you're telling me you lost all that time beforehand to get you to the spot?
No, I don't.
No, I know, but that type of shit is where I'm and it's I don't do that because that happened to me. Well, I say that because it's discouraging. I think people who are in those rooms, when they relapse, they call it a cup full of AA, And
Yeah.
when they relapse, they feel so guilty. They say, I ruined all that time. I'm here to tell you, no, you didn't. You
Yeah.
didn't ruin all that time. You got off
Exactly.
the horse. You got off the horse for a
The,
fucking night or
the
two.
first thing about curing a problem is admit that you have one. You know what I mean? And
Well,
then
no,
everything.
no, that though, exactly. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is it's
Yeah.
okay if you slip, and I'm not trying to give people like an excuse
Yeah.
to relapse. I'm just
No.
saying, if you end up drinking and you haven't drank in like a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you drink one night, they're gonna say to you, okay, you gotta start over, get your desired chip, this and
Yeah.
that.
No.
And that stays in their mind, like I lost all
Yeah.
that time. And I think that's discouraging.
Yeah.
I would be like, dude, you got
Yeah.
fucking
It is.
2
It's
you got 2 years
authoritism.
clean.
Just like
out
you
of
grew
those
up with.
out of those 2 years, you fucked up once.
Yeah.
Don't
Like
think like that.
Well, that shit with authority, people are abusing these programs of their authority. You know what I mean? They have to be the one to reprimand you and make an example and belittle you, like you know what I mean, right? That's you didn't.
I know. I get that and
Yeah.
authority and all that though, but that's why I'm saying. And most rehabs you go to take you through those 12s. Hopefully someone watches that maybe possibly did that happen to, or even like that happened to. They got right back on the fucking horse and they go back in. I'm just here to say you didn't lose all that fucking clean time. You didn't.
No, hell no, you didn't.
As long as
did
you know
not.
now, if you stay and you lose your job and you keep going and you're going, you fucked it all away.
Yeah.
But don't think that you lost all of that, and don't let anyone tell you that you lost all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like people know too, like when they're going through it, they know when they went in that program, they knew they hit rock bottom. So maybe they slip up here and there, but they know, oh, you know what, don't want to go back to rock bottom. So so here comes the discipline, right? You know what I mean? So what you messed up, what, right? Then you're right
And
back.
the discipline becomes natural after doing it for for such a long time. Like for me, like I don't even like. I'm going to be honest. Like I wasn't like, oh, should I restrict here or whatever. But with my situation, like with my father, I just like if I have that thinking, I laugh and I'll be like, well, if I do that, I'm not going to be able to be there for him and help him out. How selfish is that of me? But when someone's in active addiction, they don't mean to be selfish. It's just that they're hooked up and they can't help it. And they always, hey, why do you go to treatment? Well, I'm going to lose my job. Dude, you're going to lose your fucking life. Who cares about your job? You got to get all of this right before you even get a shirt on your back.
Exactly. Like people worry about the wrong things. It's like, it's your life here, right?
Yeah. And
it took me a while to realize that for myself. Like, it's just what the, it's
truthfully, I probably, even if that never happened to my father, maybe I would have relapsed. But what kept me though fucking in the present was his sickness. It was always about trying to find the present and peace of mind. And I found that through his sickness by not being like, what's going to be wrong with him next week? But I didn't just say that to like, I feel that. And now I don't have 1 foot forward, 1 foot behind me, going all nuts. Can't even sit down and watch a movie. Now I'm in the present. Like I found it. And there's people out there. We all want that instant gratification, but
everybody's got to get to that point, man.
I always said there was a line I used to say that said sobriety, I'm not. It's your own sobriety. Remember, folks, I'm not like one of these fucking gurus, but sobriety is definitely the best pill swallowed. It just takes the longest to kick in. And when it does kick in, it's fantastic, and every day is different. And I wanted to punch everyone in the face in the meetings who would be like, there's a beautiful life waiting for you. I'm like, you didn't have the same problems I had. And now I'm that guy that's fucking looking back like, no, there is another side to this. You got to walk through shit to get to like the bank redemption fucking thing,
Mm-hmm.
But so Bobby, so you go, so what, let us know about, to get into the detail, what was or ever, when did you start though? Because, getting hooked on some stuff like where you knew you had problems.
Well, when I was with the Chinese mob guys, when Dean and I remembered I was telling you what we saw, what they were doing, they were picking up.
Yeah, but for the audience watching though, I mean, just even if you told me something before, just say it again.
Yeah, I'm telling you exactly.
Yeah, got it.
I was in I was over somewhere, Dean and I, and these guys were heroin dealers. And they were I didn't know it when we got there, but they they grabbed some kid off the street and promised her the world, whatever, gave her some money, and then they made her try the new batch of heroin. And then when I got there, Dean and I, she was already dead. They were just putting water on her and laughing and high-fiving each other, bragging that they got good product.
Good.
You know what I mean? Right? Wow.
Yeah.
That had a profound, right?
No, that's what they do. That's what the Bumpy Johnson and them used to do back in the day, in Harlem and stuff when they get the good stuff. But that's what they do. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, but when you see that, man, that's the first thing you go. This only happens in movies. I actually, witnessed it and witnessed the, they gave not a care in the world for that poor kid. You know what I mean? Not a, and I knew after we left, Dean and I just looked at it and say, we're going to get these guys. You know what I mean? Right. But that was it, man. It just, wow,
And is that when you started using it though? Remember I said like, how did you, what got you?
Yeah. Well, it was just because I was a heavy this dealer too, right? So I'm going, man, I infected so many people. I don't know, it just hit me, but I can't explain it, right? And then when I saw that, I'm saying, what am I doing? This is what my life's come to, watching this stuff, and it's supposed to be all right, and and I always been a firm believer. Biggest crime is when good men do nothing. I cowered up. We should have took them out right then and there, but you're dealing with mob guys that you can do them, but then you got a target on your back, right? So
Yeah, no,
very sticky situation. But that's when I started using her face. I couldn't get it out of my mind. Like I couldn't even sleep, man. And just the way I stood there like a coward. You know what I mean? Right? I really
Well, I mean, you were a part, but you were a part of the underworld, though, life, though. So, I mean, hindsight's 2020 all the time. I mean, during that instance, though, like, were you both, though, like, oh man, we should like kill these guys or whatever, or no, you were just there making a deal, right?
Yeah. But like me and Dean were just like, kind of like we're going to hell on this one, like, like, you know what I mean, like bothered him too, right? So. But yeah,
that's but you could either be stuck there, but you move forward though from it though. But what for you though, after witnessing that though, that's like when you got like all fucked up.
Well, we got those guys, and after that was done, that's when I said, I had those moments like, what is my life? I started questioning myself. Am I really? Should I even be around my kids? Like, what have I become, man? Like, right? That's. And then and plus being locked up a lot too, you develop some habits in there. You know what I mean, right? But when I got out that time and then went with these, that was it, man. I thought I had the prison behind me, but when I saw that just started me back up again. That's what happened. Yeah.
So and the only thing that would bring you any type of comfort to fill the void up from seeing that was the drug.
Yeah, and plus what you see on the inside too, right? You know what I mean? Like that. I don't care what anybody says. You see some wild stuff pop off for no reason. There's no reasoning. It's all senseless shit. But anyways, but that.
Well, I mean, Bob, but you see, your upbringing though was completely though if no one's seen the episode, The Hard Life of Bobby Bright. I mean, you didn't have the easiest upbringing either, my man.
Yeah. Well, that's all part of it too. Like I repressed all that stuff too. I thought nobody can beat me. They tried it. Like I was on that trip. Like, you know what I mean? But meanwhile, I repressed so much stuff, and so when I start substance abuse, all that stuff come out of me. Like if I was drinking, then I want to fight the whole fucking bar or something. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just stupid shit. Or I'm walking home and I'll pick a fight with, you know what I mean? Just something, right? Right.
That's probably you, like, angry at yourself, like the insecurity of yourself and just lashing out while you're just drunk like that because you like, you're disgusted. Like, that I mean,
Well,
no one's out there right now like,
yeah,
yay, I'm going to shoot up. I'm going to go
but
get this.
but I buy in. But I bought into all the drinking excuses. You were just drunk. You know what I mean, right? Or
Because it's legal.
yeah, right. So
Yeah,
don't
no,
worry about it.
drinking.
You were just drinking. That wasn't you.
The
all
funny
that.
thing though is out of everything that could kill you though, like meaning detoxing wise, is drinking and benzodiazepines. Like all the other stuff though can't. I mean, maybe you could like stroke or whatever, but benzos and drinking,
Yeah,
it's because drinking's legal and stuff like that. And
yeah,
listen, I want to get this straight up right out of the point,
yeah.
right out of the gate.
Right.
I don't have a problem with anyone who drinks, who sniffs a couple rippers. Just be careful because people put fentanyl in it now. I'm not judging anyone's lifestyle. I'm just saying that I can't do that anymore because I don't know how to live. I wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I'll give you an example. Me and my brother are at a bar at Shooters down the street, and he sits at the bar, I sit at the bar. We order 2 beers. I drink my beer. I get another one before he's done with his. I drink another beer, and he's like, "All right, well, let's go back up to the house." He left half his fucking beer on the bar, and I'm like, "What do you like?" It's my own brother, but I guess I don't know. There's the difference, like where I'm just like, no, I could like I couldn't stop till I hit a wall, and that's not good. So other people who do it, if you could do it, that's fantastic. I don't have nothing against that. Have a good time, have some drinks, but I just can't.
Yeah. No, like also too. I went to Jamaica once. To get away, figure that will fix me. I went into the baddest part of Jamaica, not giving a fuck, hoping, like you know what I mean, right? All drunk, and I go to Kingston, Jamaica, with people I don't know, with a pocket full of money.
You did stupid as shit though, without even realizing it. When you look back, you're just like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And
I was on a mission to something that to hurt myself, like inadvertent, like you don't think that, but that's the truth.
Yeah, like Roll the Bones podcast. He's got a great podcast out there. He just said you were basically, you were self-punishing yourself.
Yes, I was. But I didn't know I was. You know what I mean? Like you don't.
No, but that's why I said like. Subconsciously, you were
Yes. Yeah. Big time, man. Yeah, absolutely.
100% though, man. So when was the moment when you were like, enough is enough? And I just want to say hello to Ron here because Ron's in the house.
Oh, hey, Ronnie, how you doing, bud?
There's more cocaine dealers. Not good for sobriety. You know what? Here's what I didn't understand. Maybe because it's just me, teach your own with the cocaine sobriety because they had that out in Philly, like the meetings for cocaine. For me, I don't know. Everyone's different, but cocaine was like it was just you get your bottle of Jack, you get your 12-pack, and you get yourself your 3.5. You get an 8-ball Coke, or start off with a gram of Coke. Great. It just kept the party though going. Like I never woke up. I'm just speaking of myself. Was like fuck. I need a line of Coke. It was always once I started drinking, and then I got that little bit. I'm like, okay, it's time to fucking gauge back up. But I mean, no, I know people have, with crack cocaine too, they have all that. So I'm not judging anyone with that. But for me, I just, cocaine always was just a normal, like 6-pack should have at least came with like a 50 bag of like a half gram of Coke in my view,
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, like also too, I remember a time,
Scotty.
Oh, hey Scotty, how you doing, man? I had a 9mm, right? And I'm fucking around with it, but I'm not myself. And there's one in the chamber, but I didn't put the friggin' safety on. I almost blew my head up. Like that's how absent-minded you are. Like the gun went off and went in the wall behind me, give me a blast in my eardrum. But
Yeah. Well, just like Bobby, my buddy Gene Burke's over, and I put one up, and I have a bullet though in the chamber, and usually when you close, and then when you click, boom, like without the safety on, you're dead. But I was like, nah, man, this safety's good. Click, 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 and he got freaked out and ran out of my house. He's like, dude, and it was to it was to a semi. But my point being though is like, even something as stupid as doing that. Like I remember pulling in the chamber and closing the clip,
Yep.
like it happened by my head with
Yep.
my 380. And
Yep.
it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And then
I
I
know.
got into the world though of when I got into the fentanyl, when it was just Russian
Well,
roulette anyway every
like
night.
I'm thinking about this. Now I see why I was always the first one in the door when we were going to do something. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah. Oh,
Right?
Bobby, I was the same way. I used to walk in, and now and I want the people who are seriously hurting out there.
Yeah.
If you get through this, you will come to a time where you can laugh about it, like we are. Like Bobby, I showed up at a party once. Someone had it like they were purple, like this fucking like my backdrop, lines of purple.
Yeah.
Me, get out of the way to everyone who was in line, grab the bill, boom, then go. What was that? Like, like I didn't ask what it was. Like that's the type I was.
Yeah.
So that should tell you right there. I don't belong doing drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And then all the energy though that I had though, to get the drug and alcohol, because that's a full-time fucking job on itself, especially when you run out of money towards the end. I put that now. Eventually, I found a purpose, and I put that into what I do now, whether it's with music or making this documentary or writing something. Like you just got to find a purpose when that's over, though. So when did you? So while you're doing all this stuff, leaving the bars, starting fights, all this stuff, like were you in a process? Because were you in a process of being like, man, I got to stop this eventually, or were you just like self-destruct mode yet? Like,
I was. You know what? To think back, it was self-destruct. I just thought I needed to get away, but when I went away, I was doing more shit away than I was like you know what I mean? You're in Jamaica, you're drinking rum, you know what I mean? Right? It's good, right? You got all broads all around you, everything, life is good. Then all of a sudden, as soon as when you start thinking, you slip away from the crowd you're with, and then you end up like kind of like a getaway with guys you shouldn't be hopping, getting in the car with, and right? I never ever thought of it that way until now, right?
But no, I'm saying though, that's what I'm asking you. What was the moment though? I know you said that girl's taste. That was the moment like God fucked up, you started using. But when was the moment when you were like, I am completely done? When is that moment?
Well, the first time I did it was after seeing that little girl in the bathtub when they OD'd her. That was.
But that's not what got you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
and just all the other stuff, Erica. We used to, we have meetings. We be at a table, and we're sitting and plotting and planning who's going to get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, think about that. Right? And like, who the fuck are we to decide who? Like, you know what I'm saying, right?
It's like I told Chris earlier, we're born young, dumb, full of cum. We want to prove ourselves to everything. Like that's the life that you were in. So you're going to have PTSD and just thinking how stupid that was. The older you get and the wiser you get,
Yeah, just stuff like that. Like subconsciously, I kind of caught on to when we were sitting at the table doing it. I'm going, holy fuck, man. Like, what happened to the good times, man? This is getting too serious. Like, you know what I mean? It's just. But subconsciously you take in things but don't act, and you might smile, but it piles up eventually, right? And my breaking point personally was seeing that young girl in that bathtub.
Gotcha. And that was the breaking point for you, but it was also, but you still though used over that. My question though as well though is when though were you done using? Like when were you?
Well, okay. Well,
I apologize if I didn't clarify that. I didn't clarify that.
Okay. There was a lot of stuff going on with their crew. Guys were getting arrested. There was extortion beef, kidnapping beef, a few other things, right? And we were under severe investigation, and then being messed up and everything. But the federal government, RCMPs, were going through my garbage, and my wife said, it's either that life or us. You know what I mean? Right? So there it was, man. Oh, I can't hear you, huh? Shit. I hit something. Can't hear you. I don't know what's going on. The fuck?
What type of steps did you take after that from your wife to stop, like, doing it? If anyone out there struggling now,
Yeah.
what was something that helped you out, or like
Well,
that
well,
you
she when we saw that in front of the children, she broke down. She lost it. She says, "I've been good. I've been with you, for everything, but you have to stop now. This is it. This is it. You know what I mean? Like she really, like,
got
so
into you, got to you, yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, because of my ego and well, I'm a private guy, anyways, but I told her that I'll find somewhere to go and get myself clean, which ended up in Montreal. You can't write this stuff, But yeah, so
But you got
So I
clean
started-
eventually, so
no, but it was rough, and before I went, a few of the guys, well, here, stuff, like, because being in jail, you're bringing this in case, like I fucking did that, but you know what I mean, right?
yeah.
Especially coming off that stuff, man. I thought I, do a little bit at a time just to win myself, but
No, yeah.
right. So,
Yeah.
So you're not allowed visitors or anything for a couple of weeks in the program, and then whenever I had a visitor, it was, this is my cousin, which he wasn't. And
Yeah.
we do the old prison slip.
Yeah.
Right.
So
But-
then, because listen, I mean, even in 2021 alone, I was in 7 rehabs, and just because you go into one rehab and you say
Yeah.
you're done, there's no shame in not
Yeah.
getting it right. You're not going to get it right till you're going to get it
well,
right.
Well, first,
When
first
were
thing
you?
you got to do is
When
get.
were you ready though? Like,
Yeah.
when were you ready to stop?
I was when I went, but then when I got around the boys, they were like, here you can cheat, so I totally forgot. Like, this is how sick you are. I totally
Well, then you
forgot.
weren't ready then, though, Bob. I'm talking
yeah.
when you know.
No, but I did it. But hey, man, I snapped out of it. That's where I was getting up.
Got you.
Right. So I'm cheating. But the thing is, when you first go into to one of those places, you got to get used to the people. Their attitudes, their egos, what they do at night. Just you got to get used to your surroundings. You know what I mean, right? And
I didn't say you weren't ready though. Did putting you down or anything though? Like
no.
I was a total fraud saying this or that before in the past, saying, "Oh, I'm ready." So I was just wondering,
Well, I'm getting up to when I was ready. Right?
No, you're good. I just, because anyone could have took that as me being like, you weren't ready, like putting you down. I wasn't ready a million times when I said I was ready.
Well, things happen for a reason. So I'm laying in my cot one night, and I couldn't get out of my head, what my lady's face and the tears in her eyes, and my kids, my daughter hugging my leg, and you know what I mean, right? It's just I fucking need that, that's what I mean. I don't want to, right? So the shit that I got past, I did flush it down the toilet, and then that's when I got serious. Right. But I had to have that, like everything, my whole life was a charade. You're like, you know what I mean? I didn't feel I was real a lot. Like, you got to put on an act for you're meeting this crew. You got to always put on a fucking show or, a front, you know what I mean? Right. And to feel normal, just that time to feel normal, it scared me because I didn't know what it felt like to feel normal.
Yeah.
Right?
That's real scary.
Right.
Yeah. Dealing with shit
Yeah.
without anything is very scary.
Yeah. Because you don't know where to start. Like, first in groups, people were talking and I was just, and plus you got people there, they're just there because their parole officer made them go.
But eventually you just have to,
exactly.
You wean them out and you figure out who's there for
exactly. That's where I was getting to that.
Yeah.
This ain't about him, it's about me. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So all these outside distractions, my ego, my pride, this isn't the streets. This is a recovery place. So I'm going to start fucking recovering. You know what I mean? Right. So I had to get all that noise out of my head. You know what I mean? Right. But just like I told you, the tears, the heartbreak I did on my family.
Got you. So would you say that you got sober for yourself or your family?
for myself and for them, of
Yeah,
course.
that's
Because I'm
beautiful.
no good to them if I'm no good. You know.
Exactly. And a lot of people though, and I tell them go in because a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm going to get sober for my girl. We're having a kid," and some people be like, "You got to get sober." No, maybe let him go. Good. If
Yeah,
something can at least get you in there
yeah,
and get you
yeah,
on the right track, then
yeah,
use that. If
yeah,
you can't find some higher power, spiritual type shit, then
yeah,
use whatever
yeah.
that
Well,
till you get to a certain,
for me, what used to make me feel good is helping people, being the guy on the white horse and all. But I had to stop that too because
yeah.
I should be willing to be doing that first to my family. Never mind everybody. Like you know what
Well,
I
that's
mean?
how I
Like
relapsed. I relapsed on, but you
yeah,
saw that news thing I just put up, and I
yeah,
was all I was doing was just,
yeah,
oh, I'm helping other people. I'm helping other people. I didn't even do all the work that I had to, like, did they call it shadow work, and they call it looking
yeah,
work inside you and all that type of stuff to
yeah,
see what my problems were.
yeah,
I just knew that I was sober and I was feeling good, and I
yeah,
was just like, I can help people
yeah,
now. And I
yeah.
wasn't in that.
Oh, I got cocky
I
too, man.
wasn't in that position.
I'm just saying, man. I got really cocky, you know, and you know,
Yeah,
but
I was not ready to help other people.
but
But
even though the
yeah,
physical, my troubles were the mental
yeah,
because we
yeah,
call it PTSD today. I didn't know. I
yeah,
thought all that shit was kind of normal. Oh well, it's something I got to deal with. I got to survive. That's how I processed it. I didn't
yeah,
think, oh, poor me, poor me. It was just like, okay, what next? I beat that one. Like, you know, I started, you know, right? I was kind of, then
yeah.
you start to thrive off it. Then you end up in a crew, then you're doing it. Yeah. And then, you know, that life is like a drug too, trying to come off it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's what me and what do you call it? Me and a good guy I was just talking to. I don't want to name drop him though on the phone before we're saying I was making the correlation with the gangster type crew world with the addiction world, meaning that like, is it hard for you to not go back to that life? And then the gangster could be like, well, is it hard for you to not pick up a drink or a drug? You know what I mean? Like it all
Yeah.
correlates with
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's just 100% it's all relatable. It doesn't just have to
Yeah.
be with drugs. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be people have addictions with food, addictions with whatever to fill in some
Yeah.
type of void.
Yeah.
My problem, Bobby, though, was you bring up the PTSD is like when I worked in Center City Recovery in Philly,
Yeah.
like bringing them back to life and seeing their last shimmer of their
Yeah.
eyes die.
Yeah.
Finding my best
Yeah.
friend Dave Flannery dead.
Yeah.
Fucking the night
Well,
before, I was supposed to drag him into the car and taking the Nana Coke. So like I had that survivor's guilt, all that type of
yeah.
stuff. But at the end of it, and then you go to sleep at night and laying down. That was the hardest for me,
Yeah.
man. Was
Yeah.
trying to,
Yeah. Yeah.
But then though, when you could get to a point though where you're good by yourself,
Yeah.
then for me, you like addicts, man. I know millionaire addicts, CEO addicts. We have something inside of us that
Yeah.
like some of the
Yeah.
smartest people I
Every
ever met
person
are
has that inner voice. You just got to listen to it. You know, everybody, like, you know what I mean?
addicts and criminals are some of the
Yeah.
smartest individuals I ever met, even
Yeah.
artistically, everything.
I know. You wouldn't believe the brains they got locked up in there. They're
Oh,
just using it for the wrong,
the
you know.
artists,
Yeah.
everything, musicians,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
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 And that's because they're that's their artists. So like they it's some for a lot of them it's hard to conform to like normal society. They just want to like do their
Yeah.
art and fucking that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And believe me, I get that. Like I have like I'll be driving and
Yeah.
something will be going on in my like with my hands, like you have to play the piano now. Like even like when I'm not even
Yeah.
or you have to like, work on this video now.
Yeah.
That's like a calling, like that you have
Right.
to do.
Yeah.
But there's so many most talented people I ever met were criminals and addicts.
Look at Dean. 169 IQ.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Like,
And
yeah,
he's in. I watch him on Cinderella Man. Dean was Russell Crowe's double in Cinderella Man too. Not Cinderella Man 2. I'm saying as well as a bunch of. Well, if you don't know about Dean, watch the Hard Life with Bobby Bright, the full video. They were best friends.
Well,
Dean
remember when I was telling you, then when you watch it again, you can see him, right? You know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Right?
Now that I notice, I was doing slow motion and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
With my editing stuff that I
Yeah,
saw.
because they were built the same too, right? know.
Look at this though. My cousin Johnny Risco, 20 months, booze free tomorrow. 20
Oh,
months.
right on, man. Right
Nice,
on,
buddy.
Yep.
You're a father now. You're doing your thing. Working in a brewery too, where they give you a case. Because I worked there, they give you a free case.
Holy cow! Yep.
You know, so good for you, Reed. 20
Yeah.
months. Not you're coming up on 2 years, my
How
friend.
old is he? How old is your nephew?
Well, he was tiny when I used to kick the shit out of him and hold him. But now he's probably, how old are you, Reed?
I try to do that now, Unc.
No, but it's so weird though, because they grow up so fast. He might even be 20. I would say he is, if I'm 44, he is probably 29, 30, 35. Man, I was whooping you, man, when I was 8. Sorry.
he's like, yeah, try to do that now. Yeah.
No, actually, I was 11 then, 11. So, but looking back on it, like growing up, I remember when he was the baby, like of the family and stuff. Man, time flies.
Yeah.
He's fucking 35. Mackenzie's in fucking, what do you call it? At school, full ride scholarship, Reed, my niece.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle's graduating this year. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I was always using Bobby that the time like fucking just flew fucking by.
Yeah.
And that kills me. I missed like my niece and nephews, like a lot of their stuff growing up. I really did.
Yeah.
And they know I told them. My niece had a new boyfriend and I went over to her house to my brother's and I shook his hand and I said, listen, I may not have been around for a while because I had my own problems with drugs and alcohol, but I love my niece. And if you bother her, I'll fucking kill you. You know, the uncle spiel.
Yeah. Oh,
But like I wasn't. And it's just like, man, it's like, just like how, you know, we're at the age, man, where we should be taking care of our fucking folks and stuff like that. And now the fact that I could fucking help out though mine instead of the other way fucking around. It's just so rewarding, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine if you were all messed up now and the way you look after your father now, brother, it's beautiful, man. Like you got my top respect for that, the way, you know, but imagine, you know.
Well, you know, everyone says that to me, that's just duty, man. I don't have any kids, man. That's my
I know there's a difference. Yeah.
But that's a duty. I don't think that I should be admired or anything for that. There's a duty.
No. Yeah.
That's a duty.
Well, for me, it shows your character and you know, your love.
Family first, brother. Family first, always.
Yeah, right on. That's
depending on though. Now, there's people out there though. I'm talking like, you know, me and my pops. He's my best friend. So, but other people have different relationships with their folks.
Always, when I'm friends with somebody, I always let them know they're acknowledged. You know.
No, I appreciate it. I'm just saying though that like,
I'm just saying, right?
I'm just saying, like I'm not the type that's gonna sit here and like collect the flowers. Like, look at me. To me, it's my duty. It's my fucking duty.
Yeah.
And
right on,
that's that. You know. But I do appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Punky, what's up? Congratulations on the sobriety, Bobby. I got a year coming up on August 1st. After dusting myself back off again. Proud of you both. Nice.
Thank you, Brittany.
Congratulations on that, though, too.
Yep.
We got 20 months in Reed. I think someone else said something up here.
Yeah, that's great. You know, right on, Britt. Thank you. Yep.
I just want to see someone, though, said exactly, Ron. I say one day in the beginning, 1 minute.
Britt. Yep. Yeah. Sorry.
You know, everyone thinks it's like, oh, once it's out of my system, I'm going to be okay. No, then you're stuck with the mind.
It's in there. It's still in me today, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I how you're like in the last say month, you know, it's crossed my mind. You know what I mean? But you know.
Gary Lucas, real quick. Good evening. 18 years sober myself. Congratulations, Gary.
Right on, Gary. Hey, Gary. Yeah.
Be very proud of yourself,
man.
right there. 18 years, man. Yeah. Congratulations, my man.
Right on, brother. Right on, man.
Thank you, Raf. I appreciate that. But yeah, so Bobby, what were like? So obviously you were in there. Yeah, I mean, I did the same shit. And now I look back at it, I'm like, why was I bringing drugs into a rehab? Like, what? When they weren't even holding me at that point against my will. Like, I could have left at any time, but whatever. But we were all in there, freaking like melting freaking Suboxone and sniffing it off of spoons, putting in our eyeballs, crazy shit. But my point to you is when like I just kind of maybe I don't know. I have this feeling now, and I explained this on the Suffering podcast when it comes out in May. Like something just hit me, and I'm like. Now, I'm not safe. Like, I'm not arrogant. I'm going to be like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
But, like, it
Well-
would take a lot, especially, you know, what I'm going through now. I'm sure that's an excuse. I lost my best friend, Matt Flannery, 2 years ago when I was only a year sober. I didn't use. I honored him by not using and doing all that type of stuff. So my point being, though, is like when, like, were you just like, because I tell everyone I've been to rehabs that are like that. I got my buddy owned one. I had like my own horse and my own tennis court and this and that, and fucking I could do whatever I want. But then I went to state run facility and got sober. It doesn't matter what rehab you go to, you're done when you know you're done.
When I was in there, I had two addictions.
Yeah.
You know, I was addicted to drugs and the life, you know. So when guys were slipping me, I'm just playing the part of, like to them, the crew, that I'm hard, I'm tough, nothing about me, I'll get through this. I'm just going through the motions for the old lady. That not for me, but you know, all that macho stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even call it ego. I call it a fucking clown show, man.
Let's see, but a lot of it roots though from ego, because it is your ego. You know, you got to protect it.
Yeah.
And your reputation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You always live in fear because I had a friend in the crew, and when his mother died, you know, he shed a few tears for her, and then his own crew whacked him for it, like down the road, because of that. So
Yeah,
stuff
see,
like
well,
that, it's playing in my head when guys are coming to visit me. I like, you know.
No, I know you got to act
chasing
that
me
way.
up to see if they're gonna get me now, and see if I'm weak, see if I'm gonna
Yeah,
roll.
no, I got you. I
Like,
got
you
you.
know what I mean, right?
I thought though the way you were explaining when you were like, you know, all that machismo. I was just saying like that's ego and a lot. But I see you have to put on that facade because you don't know with these motherfuckers.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're either casing me out, see if I'm gonna roll, or you know, one of them said, he goes, yeah, he made a comment. I laughed it up, and he goes, all these people got to come to Jesus moment, like he mocking, right? You know, right? Like, so I kind of took that, you know, kind of why the fuck he's there, you know what I mean? Seeing if, you know, feeling me out, seeing if, you know, right? But, you know, I didn't maintain, right? But to me, it was a fucking clown show. So,
Yeah, but they know you get
but I
out
was
of it.
hurting myself though, right? And I was compromising I could have got kicked out of there. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Then what do I tell my family? You know, another lie. You know what I mean? No. Done lying, done bullshitting with them, man. After that, man, that was it. I flushed it, I got rid of it, and I got fucking serious.
And that's and you know what it's the best thing though is though, Bobby, is like exactly no lying, straight up honesty. And listen, people don't like that. Like maybe I won't conform to certain things or whatever, but I don't care. I'm comfortable. I feel good about myself, and you know, and it's not me being arrogant or anything. It's like for the finally, like I would have paid millions if I had it for peace of mind.
Well,
I have it. So
like we had so much power in this city. You don't know, people don't understand when you have power, you know what I mean? What it does. Like, you know, like the higher Dean and I went up the ladder, the more corrupt it was. Like we were with top lawyers, top politicians, like you would athletes, you would, like, you know what I mean? In this world, like people you would never ever, you know, think, you know what I mean? They lived their life like Ozzy and Harry. You would never suspect, or but wow, you know, right?
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, but see, like you're going through like both the edges of the sword of like, you know, living though that life, and then also
it's a duality. It still messes with me to this day, right? Like, you know, it's
so what are some things though, like do you like for people out there like struggling though, like, you know, on times though, like where you're struggling, do you like what do you do to help yourself?
You have to have, if you're with your women, you got to bring her involved. You got to first, you know, you got to start communicating better. She's got your back. You know what I mean? Number one, you got to get that back. You got to pour it all out, man. Like, you know what I mean? You got to tell her what's what, you know, right? Because look what
or anyone for that matter. If you don't have an old lady though, just you gotta communicate.
or
yeah.
But you got to be completely honest. You got to be serious, and that's the first start. Like I was said earlier,
which is
huge. The first step is admitting that you have a problem. The second step is having a good support system. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
And that is important. I was so used to dealing with stuff all by myself. Like, that's how I used to do it. I don't need nobody. I was, I was pretty rough, freeing person that way, man. Like,
That's same Bobby, same here. I was the guy that just thought once they were out of my system, I'll be
yeah,
fine. I'll be fine.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
I used to lie to myself. Well, I just took this on
yeah,
last Wednesday. I could
yeah,
take a little piece of this. I won't be
yeah,
addicted. Next thing you know,
yeah.
we lie to ourselves though. But
Oh
that's
shit! I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You nailed that on the head there, because yeah, man, you're constantly lying and bullshitting yourself. You know what I mean? And that kind of habit, like, is another habit, another addiction. Lying to yourself, like, you know what I mean? Like, it
yeah,
goes
no,
on and
and
on.
that becomes hard. You got to fix that. I used to
Yeah,
I used to tell people I go out for roast beef sandwich. I tell you I had turkey because you're so used to lying though when you're
yeah,
in that life. And
yeah,
then you said first thing is yeah, admit that you got the problem. Absolutely. But that honesty thing, I'm talking sheer honesty. It's
yeah,
hard to get
yeah.
that to do that because it takes
Well,
courage to be
well,
honest. But
I'll tell you what's hard.
you're gonna feel incredible though.
When you look your little girl in the eye and say, "Daddy's all right, I'll be right back." Meanwhile, I'm going to meet my fucking dealer, and then she can tell I wasn't, well,
Yeah.
and I sit there and lie, barefaced,
Yeah, but now you change that though, now, Bobby. Now you can change.
Yeah, I know, but just things like that, hey man. Like when you
Yeah.
really get serious, you think of everything. You'd be surprised how your memory comes back.
Oh yeah, no, you got to dig in deep. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And man, I was just disgusted with myself, man. Like, didn't do nothing when that girl was in the bathtub, lying to my family. Like, the list went on. Selling drugs to my own friends that I care about, poisoning them. Like, there's a whole list I beated myself up for, but I came down and, right.
Yeah,
But
well,
all
no,
that,
because you had the courage though to actually go inside and look at
yeah,
that shit. Like
yeah.
that's not easy to do. Like to go in and look at that shit
Well,
and talk that shit out. That's not
well,
easy.
well. Another story that had a serious, profound. I was coming home from work, and this kid came up to me. He looked a little crazy, and he asked me what happened to his father. And
Oh yeah.
yeah. I remember telling you this, eh? Well, I'll tell. Can I? Anyways, I'm coming home from work, and this kid come up to me, and he says, "Hey, Bobby Bright." Like people, that's what they always say. Hey, Bobby Bright. So I turn around and it's this kid. I don't recognize him, and so he approaches me, and I can tell right away that he's got bad energy. You know what I mean? And he's got this look in his eye, and he asked me. He goes, "I want to know what happened to my father." Right? So I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "I don't know. Who's your father, kid?" You know what I mean? Right? Then he tells me the name, and then I knew who his father was.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell him I knew, and I didn't want to tell him that his father was an informant that put 3 guys away for 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? But but just that, how our life affects your own blood.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, we affect everyone around
Yeah.
us. We don't even
Yeah.
even realize that.
Yeah,
Shit,
like there's a
Yeah.
big hole in that kid's life because his father got mucked out for living
Yeah.
a life and getting hooked on drugs and couldn't sit in the police station for a couple hours. Right? So I don't know. Right? I
No.
shouldn't even say it that way, but still, the profound effect, stuff like that, when you see kids, especially that one, the look in his eye, he wanted answers, man. Like he just didn't ask me. He ended up going to ask Dean and another guy. I think it was Joey Miller that he asked too, right? And we all got together going, this kid's, right? Then we're thinking about taking him out.
That's what I was going to ask you next. So,
I'm like, I'm retired from this shit, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, right? But you don't know, right? Right? You're all that shit never leaves you, man. It's right away. Well, that would be the right move. Somebody threatens you. That's the way it used to be. If you feel you don't trust somebody, you feel intimidated, then you know what I mean? That's the way it is. So,
in that life, absolutely. And especially, that's like basically
like that. like not a week from then.
No.
More. You know what I
No.
mean? Like we anyways.
Well, yeah, no, I know. No, but I mean, it coincides with addiction still, Bobby. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, because I mean, that's your life. So, I mean, obviously, you have to bring stuff up, though, with that, though.
Well,
But what I'm saying, though, to you, though, is that's it's no magic miracle. I don't know. At least for me, it didn't. Like, like what you saw me in that little news thing and I was sober for a year and a half. I was still like knuckling every day, couldn't relax, like until like you really know, like you said it best. You get that courage to dig into yourself and look at all that shit and figure out though what it is and all that. And don't be afraid to go talk to someone about it. Everyone's like, oh, you're not a man because you talk to this or whatever.
Well,
I talk to a psychiatrist.
Well, once you stop caring what other people think, then you can do anything. You know
you know what it is, Bobby? That's what happened, especially with his sickness. I don't give a fuck. And he told me, he's like, stop caring about what fucking I use. Like when you get to my age, you're gonna look back, and it was just like a cleanse. Like I don't care. I don't. Now I can't. I don't. Let me word this right. I absolutely care for other people and all that, but I don't give a fuck if someone's out there talking about.
Yeah, I know, me either, man.
Like, whatever.
I
have fun.
Yeah.
Kelly McKinnon. How you doing, Kelly?
Oh, hey, Kelly. I love Kelly's got some stories that Dean and I.
Like, hey, Bobby, remember the pizza guy? LOL, you, Dean, Kimmy. We're watching Miami Vice, the pizza guy, LMAO.
Oh, yeah, looking for Clive. Yeah, they were undercover cops. They were looking for Clive. Yeah. Well, Kim,
you both of you guys looked like Miami Vice.
Well, we used to dress like that, eh? The shoes with no socks, the white pants, the low shirts, I know.
Right? I got the pictures. I see them. Yeah,
They're
on the Hard Life with Bobby Bright. So make sure you check that episode out.
Yeah, Kelly and Kim are twins, and their mother Flo. I mentioned her on when we did the questionnaire after the first interview, right? Flo McKinnon, right? These girls used to blackmail me too. You want to tell them that, Kelly? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, if you don't give me $10, I'll tell Jen you had another girl here. Oh yeah.
Nice.
But I love them to death. They growing up to be.
You gotta love about this whole social media stuff. As much as people bitch about it, though, like you can still be in contact with people like all over the world like this, and she knows you, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah, when she was kids, and her brother Billy, her mom was the coolest, man. Like Flo was, can't say enough, right? Yeah. Damn, the pizza guy. Yeah, looking for Clive. Yeah, remember we buried him under the laundry? The cops went down, they didn't see him. Right? Then when they left, we put him up in my room, down the roof, and he hangs time he gets away. Yep.
I never heard that one yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's so many stories probably they remember that I forget too, right? So.
Right. Punky goes, it's every day making the thank you, Kelly. It's every day making the choice to choose life. Amen. I just want to talk though real quick though about the people who are like dying and like struggling now. Because I remember when I was struggling and sick and whatever, I would look up like videos, which if I could type them in or I'd voice them and just watching them and like for relief. But I mean, I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, I got over it, so it's just so easy, this or that. But I promise you, I know everyone says this though. If you could fucking hold it out, it gets so much. Life is just incredible. Every day is different. It's Bobby. I used to be afraid to go to sleep, take a nap because I knew what that meant. The second I wake up, I'm sick. Like, imagine living a life where you're afraid to fucking go to take a nap.
I know. Because after a while, you get to know the time schedule of your dealers. And if you take a nap, you're gonna you might have to wait 4 hours for another guy, or
or not even that though. Not even waiting for the dealers. Or I would towards the end for me. I mean, I was, I had to fucking figure out a way how to fucking do whatever. And I'm not proud of how I said it on the Suffering podcast, but I'm not going to say it now. But one guy, and it didn't even end up being real. But let's just say the last time I got some of the bad stuff that I did, it just it didn't go down good. I got what I wanted, but let's put it that way. But it didn't go down good. I'm not proud of it. But at the same time, though, the shit was fake and he was selling fucking fentanyl, so I don't feel bad about what I did. But anyway, it's just I always say, I'll look at the past and all that stuff you were talking about. That's what would make me though go and use, because I'd start being like almost like cringing, like, why am I doing that? Make me use to feel comfortable. So I always like I'll look in the past. I just don't stare at like all the dark shit.
Well, I used to use that when I fell off the wagon. Like I just didn't get out and then didn't fall off the wagon a few times. But I always use that as an excuse. Well, look what I've been through. Me again, right? Right? But but
I'm sure you
all
do.
the time
Kelly.
I was in there, there were a
Come
lot.
on.
When I was getting out, I was like, "Fuck, I'll maybe do it once." I knew it. Like it's right on your mind. You're getting freedom, and and that's what you're thinking about. That's how I knew I wasn't well. If I wasn't thinking about my kids, and then I'm not right in the friggin' mind, man.
No, Bobby, I get it. Listen, we all fucking go in absolute. I couldn't even say. I genuinely would tell my friends, do you ever get to a point in sobriety where you could just like sit down and watch a movie? Like I couldn't sit fucking still. It was just constant in my mind, constant. Then if I knew I had stuff, I try going to sleep, and it's like, hey man, you still have that. And then I ended up doing all of it. Then when I really went to sleep, I wake up the next day, I'm like, fuck, there goes that whatever job I had. Yeah. And fucking for the time being, and it's just a vicious fucking cycle. Everyone's story is fucking, not good. And the bottom line is that for me anyway, it sucks though that like we have to tell people like doesn't matter what rehab you go to, you're only gonna get better when you're ready. But now we live in a world where you might not be around when you're ready because it's all fentanyl and everything. When I went to high school, I knew what I was getting. I knew it was a Xanax. I knew it was I knew it was Coke. When I sold Coke, I knew it was Coke. It wasn't fentanyl. And that's what's scary now, man. Like how I told you that Purple Line story.
Yeah.
Like if I was growing up now in school, I wouldn't make it past 16.
Yeah, I know. I seen that like you're going to parties or wherever you're going, and you haven't done it in a while. All of a sudden, somebody puts it on the plate, man. You're
Or no, I'm saying fentanyl though. But
man, yeah. And you're not the little lines, little twos. You're doing like friggin', you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you only need a tiny bit of that shit to fucking kill you.
Wow.
Like that.
I know what people don't realize that's how dangerous that is, eh? Yeah.
But all the drugs are mixed though with that.
And the heroin. Yeah.
But around here though, there's no heroin.
Yeah.
It's all fentanyl.
Yeah. Well, there's both here, right? They're usually cutting the fentanyl down because they're putting it more in pills, so I think they have more control of the
that's
potency
scary
or something. I don't know. I don't even want to think about that, because
at least it raises awareness to fucking people out there.
But they're getting kids like after school at 3:30 with their backpacks pressing their pills for them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I know exactly what you're talking about. But also, though, the pills, though, they're pressing that are Xanax, but they're really fentanyl on them.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is that? That's why don't take a fucking pill unless it's from your doctor or from a prescription that you see come out of fucking the pharmacy, because you don't know what you're getting. Omar from The Wire. Michael, I forget Michael, what the fuck is his last name? Great actor, had the scar going down his face. He played Chalky White in Boardwalk Empire. He played Omar in The Wire. Michael K. Williams, he and a bunch of his buddies were out. This is about a year and a half, 2 years ago. A couple comedian buddies and him, and they bought some Coke. They were out drinking. They wanted, so they went back to the apartment. All of them dead.
Yeah. Wow.
And he never was he wasn't a pain pill guy or nothing. He just wanted to do some lines of Coke just to keep the party rocking. Dead.
Yeah.
That's how it is here. Everything is fucking fentanyl and Trank. And then they put Trank on the East Coast, which just rips your guts apart.
Well, man, we got lots of people on here. I was trying to say hello. Good night, Brittany. Yeah. What a cool lady she is. Right on. And tells it like.
I know, Brittany Punky's great. Yeah. No, I got everyone, Bob. I got Kelly.
Yeah. Okay. There's a question from I can't limp.
I got it. Hey, I got a question. It's for Bobby. When did you stop using, and how long has it been? How long has it taken you to stay clean?
Oh, well, okay. I took the first 3 months in Montreal in the treatment center. I came home. I was clean maybe 2 weeks, and then I started gradually getting back into it, but I admitted it. I went right immediately back. You know what I mean, right? So I was off and on. I fell off the wagon quite a few times, and I'll tell you why that happened, because I was addicted not only to the drugs but to the life, my ego, everything, right? And you're always constantly conflicted in yourself, fighting yourself. You know what I mean? And then when I lash out of my frustration on my own family, that put me on a downer. And then I go out, and as soon as I start drinking, then you got to do the coke, got to take some pills, like, you know what I mean, right? So I went off and on for about a good 2 years, man. Yeah, about good 2 years. But now, what am I? 59 now, so not doing any heroin or anything like that. It's been about 6 years.
That's fucking awesome, man. 6 fucking years.
Yeah. Well, that's when my woman died, right? So so that's why. Right.
Yeah, that's the thing though with me, is every time I got clean, like whenever one of my brothers would pass, like best friends or whatever, that's one thing I never could get over. And now though that I've been tested through that, especially with Matt Flannery and with my dog Ozzy and with my dad's sickness, hopefully I'm at a spot now where I'll be strong enough. And and another thing is, besides the spiritual aspect of it, I just eventually told myself, because I was 40 years old, like, it's time to grow the fuck up. Like, like I kept even telling, I was saying that to whatever spiritual power I was speaking to at the time, like make me grow the fuck up and be a fucking man.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you, this even didn't, like, before I went into the treatment center, I was partying with these bikers up in my condo, and we're doing coke and everything, and my condo was a safe house. We had all kinds of safe house. But anyway, so we're up there partying and drinking, and then one of the guys, he had a bag of heroin, and he put it on the plate, made it look like it was blowing. I fucking snorted, and I OD'd on it. You know what I mean? Right? I woke up in the hospital, but know what the strange part was? I was clinically dead. Okay. I knew who the ambulance driver's names and everything. How did I know that? You know what I mean? Right. And after we're like, I'm coming to, and that's when it really hit me, too, also, right? Just.
So is that the last time you ever used?
Yeah, heroin, yes. Yeah. And then I went to the treatment, and then I slipped a few times, but I slipped on the heroin once, but the rest was all coke or Percocet or something like that.
Well, just all in general, I'm saying, though, like, how long have you been off everything?
6 years.
6 years. Yeah. So gotcha. Yeah, because I would do the same. Like, for me, it was the booze, the coke, and I was sniffing some. I went through that whole OxyContin era, but then booze, coke, and then. But I don't know if, like, I never felt alcohol withdrawal, even though I drank so much, because I was constantly drinking, but I would always be eating pills. But then when I slipped, and then started the pills again. They get, what's that?
Well, no,
okay,
I can go out now.
I just wanted to finish what I was going to say, but what's that? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I can go out and have a few glasses of wine now, and I'm fine. But people think when you tell them you're trying to go sober, that you think you're going to be a bore, like, just their attitude. No. Right? Like, that's okay, but it's just, Right?
Yeah, see, but I don't think that you should feel, though, any guilt towards that at all. And that's what the rooms would make you feel like, okay.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like it just, right? But like we were saying that when you learn to really want to help yourself, you learn stuff, you feel stuff, you know what I mean? And you just do it, and after a while it comes easy. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It just, you just got to be careful out there with what's out there.
You gotta surround yourself with positive people. Period. None of these negative people. Nobody from this. You gotta have positive energy in your friends constantly. You know what I mean?
Without a doubt, that's everything. It's your circles, your everything. Everyone that you speak to, and
that's right.
Finding purpose, though, is a big one too, and that's going to take time, though, because you got to get comfortable in your own skin, and that takes time.
Yeah.
But like it goes back to invest in yourself. Like if I
Yeah.
told you, if you get clean and you fucking deal with it for over a year and there's $1 million waiting for you on the other side, would you get clean? I'm sure to be like, yeah, well, there possibly could be. So just
You always got to have a purpose, a goal to achieve something. Always have yourself where, when you're investing in yourself, to set goals for yourself and achieve them. And there's nothing sweeter than that. You know what I
that's
mean?
why I had the whiteboard here. I used to write down little ones, Bobby, like make your bed, even if they're small little wins, they don't have to be huge, just little daily wins. And then at the end of the night, what I do is know how they say, well, the 10 steps, like, okay, I'll try not to lie as much about whatever. What I do is I count my positives, my negatives. My positives always suffocate my negatives. So I say to myself, why do I let my negatives get to me? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and know what else worked for me? Just phoning somebody and talking, like somebody that you can be honest with, and just talk to them, and for a half an hour or whatever, how long it is, and then all of a sudden that urge that you got for being like bored or impulsive goes away, right? So that's what I mean about a support system with positive people.
Oh, show me your friends. I'll show you your future. Yeah, no, I heard someone else say that. Yeah, but no, you're right, Rafa.
Yeah.
I hear you there, Bobby. Anytime someone feels like having a drink, just remember how you felt before you became sober. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And plus, though, right where it's going to go back to. But I know many people though that actually got sober. They could like what do you call it? Have a beer on a Sunday and relax and do stuff like that and this and that. I'm not though saying that that's smart for anyone at all in like the beginning or anything like that. For me, I can't do that. I know me, I can't. Maybe I could, but I'm too fearful to even go back to that because I can't let that.
Well, in our cocaine days, man, when you drink, you had it was just like tea and sugar and.
Well, that's why I said they should have.
You know what I mean? It was just hand in hand.
Should have been a gram of it on the 6-pack box. They should have had a gram on it. I remember I used to kid myself. I'm just going to drink tonight. 2 beers in, boom, bring it. Getting coke. You always got, and that's why for me, cocaine was more of just like a drug to keep going. And but then though, it's 2 days later, and you're all staring at each other with a crack in your forehead, and the birds are fucking chirping, and you're like, oh God, my jaw's all the way over in Pittston.
Hey man, I used to talk my old lady's ear off. And I come home and right over the boys, right, and I'd be well,
oh, dude, no, how about the first time though? Like when you're drinking, and then you get that buzz, and you do that first good line. It could be the person that you want.
It's always the best one. The first one,
like, oh, you're the best. I love you, man. I known you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Shut up. You known it for 30
Well, there's one lesson I learned. The first line is the best line because you spend the rest of the night chasing it. You know what I mean?
And then what happens is though, if you do too much more cocaine over the booze, then that's when you get jittery. So you got to stay up. Look at now, I'm telling people how to drink with the coke. Don't throw any of it. My point is, I want everyone to understand this though. I am not putting anyone down who drink. I hang around people who drink. I see it. They could drink. I just know I can't. So I'm not judging anyone. This is just what
I know.
Help me.
I don't judge nobody, man. If you're straight with me, I'll be straight with you. You know what I mean?
But one thing, Bobby, though, that's very important, though, that you just went through, that I think we should say, though, before we close this is when we are, though, helping others, we have to be careful, though, too, who we're helping. Meaning, if you're already telling them a shitload of times and they're not listening and they're draining you, like my buddy Olin calls them soul suckers.
Yeah.
If they're draining you and they're not taking any of your advice, you have to put the cut on them and say, listen, man, I'm here when you're ready, but I can't continue this.
Yeah.
Like,
and I recommend too, what Eric just said, I got this from Kevin's show, Kevin Donaldson show. You know what I mean?
Supplement podcast. Yeah.
He's brilliant, man. Like, wow, you should really, and his guests and stuff like that. I'm not trying to promote him, but he's
there we are. I was just in his studio on Wednesday.
Oh, right on. Oh, what a great man, man. I just love this guy, like instantly. Like, there's a guy with good energy. He won't lie to you. He makes sense. He's cooler than the Fonz. You know what I mean?
No, he's in the episode that I have up with them. It's called Post-Traumatic Success with Kevin Donaldson. That's up in the video section too. Yeah, like so what happened though was Bobby was trying to get in touch with me and I had my hands tied with my father and Kevin though immediately was like, "Oh, I'll talk to him. I'll call him, boom, boom, boom." And like, some people are just some people talk it or
Yeah,
some people walk it and he walks it. So
yeah,
all the respect in the world out there though to
yeah.
Kevin
Right on,
Donaldson
man.
though.
Yeah,
And the name of the episode is
yeah,
post traumatic success, and that'll be out, I believe, in mid May or the end of May. Where I talked about my story and the project, the Buffalino
yeah.
project.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
wait that that comes out. Yeah,
oh, dude, we're right there, buddy. We're right there.
yeah.
So, and that's the other thing. Like, what I think back 4 years ago that I would be doing the things that I'm doing. Like, if I was still doing the things I was doing back then, first off, I probably wouldn't even be breathing air.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times I OD'd and stuff. So,
yeah,
second off, I'm lucky enough. But
yeah,
second off, like,
yeah.
it's just so much better. Like you wake up and you don't have to it's not like, oh my God, what do
I know.
you could just live. It's
Yeah.
it's it's
I know, like me, I don't have to wake up and where's my gun? You know, you know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, but no, but I'm talking about addiction wise. Like wake
Yeah,
up, like
yeah,
I don't need something to continue. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And just to live, it's an internal prison. Like
yeah. It is.
it
It is
really is.
because we're the most hardest on ourselves too, right? Like
Yeah.
I can solve anybody else's problems like that. When it comes to me, forget about it.
Yeah, but you got the double-edged thing going, like how you said, wake up though, and you're gunned that life, and
Yeah.
then also though you were an addict. So it's the duality though of both of controlling both of
Well,
those.
my life always been like that
I gotta
duality.
commend you on that.
You know? Always the yin and the yang of everything. You know, as above,
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
below.
and you know what though? You have 6 years, and you know what? Some people they think because they have 3, 4 years or whatever, oh, I don't need to call anyone or whatever. But look, you talked to Kevin though a few weeks ago. You're not afraid to admit it. It's
Yeah,
fine. It's okay if you have 6, 7, 10 years
yeah,
down the fucking road.
yeah,
You fucking pick up the phone and you fucking call someone. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like when I spoke to Kevin on the phone, man, he was so cool, direct, and made sense in the world, man. Like just those minutes, man. Just you can't like. That's why
yeah.
you need a good support system.
No, that's Bobby. That is literally
Yeah,
without that, then I don't know
yeah,
what I mean. That's what
yeah,
you really need. People who actually want to see you do good and
yeah,
want you to
yeah,
you're not the ones that want to see you do good but not better than them. No, the
yeah,
ones that want to genuinely see you good,
yeah.
do good.
Exactly. Yeah,
And that was life changing though for me, 100%.
yeah,
You boys chose life, and life is choosing you. Amen.
yeah.
Kelly
Right
said,
on.
Bobby, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I love you, honey.
Thank
She's the
you.
coolest. Kelly.
Yeah, we should get her on the
Right on
show.
her.
We should get her on. We should get her on one time and do like the three-way talk.
Oh, she can. I'm gonna have to
No
pay her to
story.
shut her up. All the stories she's got on me.
No, welcome anytime, Kelly. I'd
Um,
love to.
yeah. But oh yeah, I'm getting distorted by twin girls that they're 9 years old. Put the arm on me. Yeah.
Well, she's more than welcome on the show at any time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As are you, Bobby. And nice, we're already going on an hour and a half here. I got to congrats on your roll the bones. Congrats on your sobriety to both of you. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you. And best of luck to your channel.
Chris is his name. Roll the dice. Roll
the bones podcast. It's a good
Thank you,
podcast.
Chris. Right
Check
on.
it out.
I went and liked your channel too, but I was watching it. Right on. Got some good
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, subscribe up to that channel. He's doing some good things over there.
Yeah.
And Bobby, definitely though, man. Thanks though for the time, my man.
Thank you for the time too, man. You're giving your time too, man. Yeah,
No,
you taught me
it's always
that.
I know, but you're coming on my channel, and I can't thank you enough. And just the door's always open for
You're
you,
welcome.
man. And hopefully, if there was someone though watching this though, like who's totally struggling, like what is though like one thing that you would though say to them? I know it's listen, and let me say this first. When someone's really hurting, you could say anything. If they're drug sick, they're going to be like, whatever, blah blah blah, and get their drugs. But we get that, we understand.
Yeah.
But if someone's like kind of out of it, but thinking about going back or whatever, what's something you would say?
Yeah, I would say remember where you were, when you hit rock bottom. Remember, I bring them back to that. Because that moment when you're thinking when you're at rock bottom, and those memories that you had then stick with you. So I would revert them back to that.
Absolutely. And also, I just want to double on that and say, call someone and don't think about, what's funny, Bobby? I used to always be like, I don't want to bother anyone though and call for help. Well, you
Me
know what?
too.
Yeah, but you know what? I called the fucking dope man 57 times in fucking 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
I would call him. I'd call him constantly, but why not call someone for help? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just starts our minds, the psychot, what is that? Like, not psycho, but like it's almost, it's like continuing to do the same things, expecting different results.
Sometimes, when I hook up with Dean, man, we have some serious conversations, like just out of nowhere, man. Like, he'll be, we going, and then he'll come out with a question. And then I know where he's getting at. He was the kind of guy that instead of coming to just kind of, slide into it, and then me, because we're together, I caught on what he was doing, and then we got right down to it, man. And we had a lot of deep conversations about the stuff that I was saying on here. What are we doing with our lives? How's it affecting our kids? How this, that, like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's just always though. Believe me, I almost lost my leg. OD'd a countless amount of times. I've been at over almost 20 fucking rehabs. If I could do it, if Bobby could do it, if anyone could fucking do it, you just have to. You got to find the right thing though, and don't be embarrassed either about.
Exactly, you got to let your hair down, man. There's no holds barred.
Listen,
on who you were before you walked in that door, man. Because that's not you. The person that walked in the door is you. And
but Bobby, what's more embarrassing is the person of and this is our minds. We think it's embarrassing to ask for help and go in and in the treatment. But what's embarrassing is staying out there and peddling and fucking doing what you got to do for your fucking habit. When you ask for help, or if you want to go away to a treatment to better yourself, that's fucking fan. That's a huge monumental step.
I know, like because you're addicted. That's the first thing you think of when you wake up, where you're gonna score. And it's the last thing you think of when you go to sleep. It's vicious, man. It doesn't stop until you stop it.
You got to sleep in Joe and Kelly. Yes, you are. Doors open for you, Kelly. Anytime.
Right on, Kelly.
Sneak in. But everyone,
you got $1,000 coming, Kelly. The show. Oh no, man. It's so funny.
No, I love to hear the old stories, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
we can definitely set that up, though.
Sister and her brother got but what beautiful people are, like, Kelly's just adorable.
Everyone out there, again, thanks, and hit that like button and subscribe. Bobby, I got to go and take care
of
you.
Man.
Thank you so much, though, man, for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you too, man. It was
we'll do it again, though, man, and we'll talk about it, whatever, and then with these, and if people, want to reach out and reach out, you guys, all my links are in the and Bobby's YouTube. Bobby, send me your link because I can never find your show on.
How do I send you a link? I just type it out.
No. Go to your page, hit copy, go share, share, copy, or when it says share, a little text message thing might come up. Hit that button. Then type in LO, and I bet my name auto populates. Hit Loomis, send.
Okay.
Boom. Done deal.
I will. Yep.
Yeah, the share little fucking button. It's kind of like a button that's like share.
I'll get it, man. Like I said, I type 20 words a minute.
You got it, my man. Hey, everyone out there, thanks again.
Like I'm doing the robot when I'm typing. It's how brutal I am.
Bobby, I love you to death. Guys, if you didn't see The Hard Life of Bobby Bright, get on that. It's in the video section, and it's a great episode. Bobby, thank you again so much for your time.
You're welcome, man. It was my pleasure. I truly enjoyed this. I hope we help somebody that message got out there, and you can always contact me or Loomis.
Yeah, guys, my links to all the so I'm gonna get Bobby's link after this, but the 2 Instagram links are in the description.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments.
You could DM me on that. No, don't put it in the comments. Just email. I mean, just
okay.
text it to me so I can put it in this description.
Okay.
because this is going to recycle and other people are going to see this down the road.
Hey, Chris, that's Kelly's man, Chris Gilmore, and a cool guy, great guy. I'm
What's
so
up,
glad we're
Chris?
together. Yeah.
Thanks for being
Right
here.
on, brother. Thank you, bro.
All right, Bobby, thank you so much, my brother.
Okay, man. Yeah.
Talk soon.
See y'all.
Mr. Bobby Bright, that man is a gentleman. I love him to death. And Lala still in the house. What is going on? Thank you for being here as well. I hope everyone watching enjoyed that. Me and Bobby, though, been talking about the tune addictions little segment for a little while. About 3 weeks ago, we got it done though tonight. Wanted to make it alive. So again, if anyone ever needs to reach out, links are in the description. Hit that like on your way out, subscribe up, and also coming soon. Now, that won't be on YouTube or nothing. No, that'll be on Amazon Prime and other streaming networks. But stay tuned for updates for that here. And thank you all again. I can't thank you enough for the time. And keep coming back. It works. Absolutely. Ron goes, rehabs for quitters. LOL. We got to end the show on that. You know, some people take things like so seriously. If you can't laugh either, like the people, like some people that get sober and stuff, or like they're all like, dude, you could fucking laugh. That was fucking great. Should I end it with keep coming back? It works, or should I end it with rehab is for rehab is for quitters of who still want to wreck their life. How about that? Love you, Ron. Yeah, that was just a tiny taste. Thank you, Lala. And the true story of the Buffalinos will be out very, very soon. So getting excited about that. Been working in silence for a while on that. And I want to thank Bobby Bright again. I want to thank Ron, Chris, Kelly, Lala, Alias, Reed, congratulations on the 20 months. Punky, congratulations. Alias, everyone that was on here. Chris, thank you, my friend, and love you, Ron. I'll talk to you soon. And take care, everyone. Have a beautiful night. And like I always say, don't take shit from anyone. Live it your way, as long as your way's in, not the way we were just talking about how we used to be, but you know what I fucking mean. I love yous. And thanks for watching the Loomis Show. We'll see you next time.
I don't give a fuck anymore.